Well, hello. In my hand, I have proof of why this new PSL rule will actually help Kaizer Chiefs massively. You see, PSL has come up with this new rule which says that all foreign coaches who come to South Africa to coach any team, either be it in the PSL, DStv Premiership, or in the Mtsepe Foundation, must, number one, have a CAF-A license and a UEFA Pro or a UEFA Pro license. Now, someone will say, Mpilo, that's exactly what Kaizer Chiefs has been doing. Yes, they've been good in this department. They've been hiring coaches who are qualified. However, this is the second thing which I think is very important, very vital, because it contributes to what we've been going through, not winning anything. Because the second rule says those coaches must have won a cup in the last 7 years. Now, Kaizer Chiefs, since the trophy drought started, have had 3 foreign coaches. One is Giovanni Solinas, the other is Ernst Middendorp, and the last one is Stuart Baxter. 3 foreign coaches, and I'm going to show you what they were doing 7 years prior rejoining Kaizer Chiefs, starting with Giovanni Solinas. Take me back to Kaizer Chiefs firing Steve Kompela. Not good for him, but Kaizer Chiefs fans had it up to here. So they hire this guy, they release a statement. It was the 13th of August 2018. Funny enough, they didn't invite media, which was a weird thing because they usually do that, but they didn't do it on that time, and it wasn't even COVID. And then in the statement that they released, they talk about the fact that he has a UEFA Pro license. They talk about the fact that he has a degree in sports science and stuff like that. But what they also mentioned, which made some fans think, oh wow, yeah, this makes sense, is the fact that he has the Champions League experience and the CAF Confederations Cup experience with JSM Pechaya and ES Setif. Now, it's very important to give this context because just naming that he has experience does not give you the full picture. And yes, he did win the Algerian Cup with the other team, is ES Setif. But let's go back to context. One, how did he even get experience in the Champions League and in the CAF Confederations Cup? Well, if you see when he joined Ipechaya, he joined them in January to June 2013. So that means he joined them halfway through the season. So that tournament that he had experience in, it's not like he qualified for. So if you want a coach who can qualify you for African competitions, isn't it, or doesn't it make more sense for that coach to be the one who would have qualified for that tournament? You would think so. Also, the team that you are writing about in the presentation is a team that fired him after how many months? January to June. That's 6 months. Okay, fine. That's 2013. The other one with ES Setif. Where did I write his notes? ES Setif. He joined them in September 2010. Mind you, September 2010, that means it's mid-season. Until December 2010. They fired him within September, October, November, December. 4 months once again. So the things that are listed as his accomplishments are clubs where he stayed 6 months and 4 months. And it's like, yeah, this coach is coming because he has experience in the Champions League, but experience in the Champions League that was acquired by someone else. And you in your statement are saying that, hey, we want this coach to come to Chiefs because he basically can get us to Champions League and he has experience. But what experience? Because you can play in the Champions League. There are teams like Young Boys in Europe. They always play in the Champions League because they are good in their own league, their domestic league, but they are not good enough in playing actually in the UEFA Champions League. They are just good enough to qualify for it, but they can't do anything there. Now, someone's going to say, anyone who has played for Young Boys in the past few years has experience in the Champions League, but they don't have experience in winning it, in advancing it further. They just know how to be there. But in this case, this guy didn't even qualify for that. But that's the thing that we're being told about. I'm not done there, because before that, he was at Free State Stars and reached 2 semi-finals within 6 months. That was also in the statement. And you look at his first stint at Free State Stars. It was from December 2015 to May 2016. Once again, a very short time. December, January, February, March, April, May, 6 months again. And then he left. Then he goes back again to Free State Stars, September 2016 to January 2017. Once again, they fire him. And then after that, he go to Al Faisal in Saudi Arabia from February 2017 to June 2017. And then he gets a job as a Kaizer Chiefs coach after a year of not doing anything. And the question is why? The only thing that he had won before coming to Chiefs at that point was the Algerian Cup. The other thing of qualifying for the Champions League, he came to a team that had already qualified for the Champions League and played with them, obviously got eliminated and lost a bunch of matches and ended up being released. And then Kaizer Chiefs hires him on August 2018 and then they fire him in 2016. And I know someone would say, this man took Free State Stars and he took them to the 2 semi-finals. But once again, a league and a cup, 2 different things. If you take someone who can win league matches, because that requires you to be consistent for a very long time, for like 9 months, because the league starts August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 10 months of consistency. You need that. And if you are not consistent for those months, teams figure you out, then you are going to be in trouble because you're not going to win the league because people have studied you and they now understand how you play. Which leads me to Ernst Middendorp. Yeah, right? Because Ernst Middendorp, people will say, Mpilo, he won us cups before. Yeah, he did win Chiefs. The top 8, he also won the Chiefs. What was the cup called at the time? It was the Nedbank Cup. It's called Nedbank Cup now. But at the same time, he didn't win us the league, right? He didn't win us the league because ultimately that's the thing that will help to see, Uguti, is this the coach for a project? Because the main thing here is not to try and get a coach who's going to win us something and move on, but it's to get someone who's going to come to the team and make sure that we're not just winning today, but we're going to win tomorrow, replicate that next week, do the same thing next month and 5 months from now. But if your coach is just like targeting 3 months of playing the Nedbank Cup and then moving on, then that coach cannot be trusted. Ernst Middendorp leaves Kaizer Chiefs, he goes his way, and then I'm counting from 2011. He coaches Arrows from March 2011 to September 2011. Imagine that. Let me get my laptop here. So after that he goes to Maritzburg United, January 2012 to October 2013. Celtic, October 13 to December 2014. At least he stayed there a bit. Chippa United, January to March 2015. A very short period of time. Free State Stars, August 2015 to December 2015. Do you see the pattern once again? He's just moving all over, and I want to read his thing here because I had it. And he keeps on going over and over and over this team with these short periods. I won't do it because the video then will be too long. But then again, Kaizer Chiefs are desperate. They are not winning anything, so they end up doing what? They end up going back to Middendorp, and then they hire Middendorp. And what happens with him? He takes us through the league, and then January, people will start blaming Malulek. But here's my thing, ne? Here's my thing. I have watched teams playing without their key players. They still find ways of playing. And yes, even teams like Man City, they lose about Rodri. You see there's a lot missing in the team. But the identity of the team, the players who are still there in the team, they will try and do the business. Because even Man City, they've been without De Bruyne and they fell off a bit, but they always fall off in between November and December, and they come back in January. So it's a pattern that happens. But either way, even without those key players, what usually happens is that the team was scoring 3 goals, it's now scoring 2 or 1 goal. With Chiefs, nothing was happening because Middendorp had been figured out. And I would have told them for free that, listen, Middendorp came to Chiefs, he won us cups, but he was not good enough in the league. Why? Because he couldn't replicate his style of play over and over again. And because of that, people will say it was COVID. Sundowns were also under COVID. People will say, oh, there were brown envelopes given to players. But come on, are you telling me that Nukovic also got a brown envelope to miss the chance under the bar? it cannot just be down to envelopes. Kaizer Chiefs lost their plot in the 2019-2020 season, and that's the reason why we ended up losing the league on the last day, because the coach ran out of ideas and he didn't know what to do. And to show that this is not a new thing, he's been doing it all over all these other clubs, and he runs out of ideas and then they fire him. Even Namanje, he took a job at Cape Town Spurs rather, and then what happens is that now he can see that it's over his head, he's in over his head, and now he's complaining about everything, almost fought to the fan just a few days ago. But Chiefs, in their desperate attempt to get someone who can win them at least something, they ended up going for someone that they were familiar with. Speaking of people they were familiar with, let's like the video and subscribe to the channel, and then talk about Stuart Baxter. Enter Stuart Baxter, his second stint. I'm not talking about his first, because when he left Chiefs the last time, he had won us the league even. So someone will say, Panpilo, he won us the league, right? So why not hire him? Because an X is an X for a reason, right? Someone, things didn't work well with him before with Chiefs. Now you are bringing him back. But after he left Chiefs, he went to Turkey, coached from June 2015 to August 2015. That's within 3 months. He went to SuperSport. He coached from January 2016 to June 2017. There at least he stayed. Had no high expectations, were not expected to win much. And then he got appointed with Bafana Bafana. Like, I will not even count the Bafana Bafana gig. The only impressive thing that he did with Bafana Bafana is the fact that when we're in the AFCON, we won against Egypt in their home stadium, So that was good, but it was also individual brilliance, Kaloch, because he had been insisting to play with Tembazwane as a left winger, and then benching Uloch, who was having the best season of his life, and then ended up coming in and saving the club. And then we played the following game. He did the same thing of benching Uloch again, and then we ended up losing the game. So then they sacked him. And also in the national team, games are like, you have 2 games in March, you skip the whole 3 months. You have 2 games in June, you skip. So it's not like easy to just fire the coach because you're thinking, oh, he's going somewhere. So really, Bafana doesn't count. We're talking about other teams. And then it goes to Odisha. Goes to Odisha in 2020, August 2020 until February 2021. He played 14 games. You know how many of those he won? He won only 1 game. 1 game he won. And then after all of that, Kaizer Chiefs decided, you know what? Let's welcome him with hands, and not these hands, but saying, come back to Kaizer Chiefs and be our coach. And guess what? It didn't work, because like Middendorp, an X is an X for a reason, but most notably, it shows that this thing of not looking at how the coach has been doing in recent years is definitely going to affect how they do when they get to your team. And Middendorp and Baxter, they were the same thing, and I hope Uguti next time they really go after a coach, since the PSL has enforced that, they must check whether the coach has won anything in 7 years. Then that's going to help. And also not just to check whether they've won anything in 7 years, but also check their points per game, for instance. How are they doing in the league? Will they be able to win us the league, or they just target these tournaments in 3 months and then they win those tournaments, and after that they're like, we've given them something, they're not going to complain. I mean, I just won you a cup, so what are you complaining about? So I do think that this decision by the PSL is going to help Chiefs. You know what's ironic? Let me get this book. Utidiela of Black Leopards, yeah, I remember, I thought I forgot his name. Utidiela of Black Leopards, the chairperson, is the one who opposes this whole notion of coaches having won something in the last 7 years and having UEFA Pro licenses to come and coach in SA. Nomamila, by the way, who doesn't have these coaching licenses, complaining because they're saying, Safa just wants to fit themselves in, because they're trying to improve South African football by bringing people who are qualified to do the job. Because even to this day, we have people who are supposed to be coaches who are criticizing playing out from the back. You like, do you even know why teams play out from the back? They wouldn't know, because they're still stuck in 1980 football, where we're just kicking the ball and running after it. But if you are learning and you're understanding football and its evolution, then you will understand that these things sometimes are necessary. You just need to start coaching it. That is what Ramovic, the coach of TS Galaxy, was saying, that this playing out from the back thing is a tactic, but it must be taught from a very young age. Abafana befike kuma senior team already knowing how to do it. But now, since there are clueless people in development structures, and then there are clueless coaches in the professional setup as well, so then you end up having a lot of mistakes where there's supposed to be very few mistakes. Because if you watch teams that have players who came from development and are used to playing with the ball in their feet, they make far less mistakes. Obviously, they're going to make mistakes. I mean, people make mistakes kicking the ball forward. So why not do something that's going to help your team? Play the ball from the back, invite the press, and then play the ball through the lines of pressure. All of a sudden, there's space behind, and since the Chiefs is about to pre, then they can run into that space because we've basically tore a team apart. But if coaches don't understand that basic principle that I, a football fan, understand, then how do you trust Uguti they can change our football? That's my thoughts. Let me know your own down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, Khosi, I'll pay you more.